We just got back from watching the fireworks. It was really great to see people genuinely celebrating this nation. We really are blessed because God has set this nation up and He has used it through the years to do good. And when we are on God's side, it always comes out well because He makes us to prosper and to win. And He chooses to use people. He can do things on His own, but He chooses to use people, and He has used this nation. And I believe if we follow Him and serve Him, He will use us again. And I'm very thankful for the patriots throughout the generations that God has put in place who have fought against tyranny, fought against those who want to take away our freedoms. And today, we have to watch it because it's not outside of the country, but it's our own people within our country that want to take away our rights. And they want to take away our freedom to serve the Lord. And when you look at things today, the Bible says that, we're to be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. And wherefore we're to put on the whole armor of God, that we may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And that's so applicable today, because when you look at the situation today and the social issues that are going on, you will see that all that is right and good in the world, that which is good, that the Lord blesses, it's attacked. And we have seen, and I remember hearing Hillary Clinton years ago talk, and they were talking about the LBG movement and all the things that they wanted to happen. And they believed, or their intent, she said, was we want to use legislation to make legislation that can use litigation to force men and women of faith to accept their beliefs. And really, that's what they've been doing. If you look, you have, bakers won't bake a cake. They're either in courts, out of business, possibly prison. People have gone to prison because they would not go against their conscience. They wouldn't sin against God. But yet we've sat back and watched these things happen. We needed patriots that stand up for what is right. And those that refuse to give in, they're patriots. They're going to serve the Lord, even if it costs them. And we're seeing more and more patriots with voices to step up and to say what's right. And you and I, we can be patriots, and we can do what's right. And so when you see these people, and be quite honest, they're not embarrassed about it, they're quite brazen. They tell you, and that there's, you can use the Democrat Party, for example. Now, Republicans and the Democrats, they both have their picadillos. It just so happens to be that right now, the Democrat Party, they're just a poster child for all that's wrong in the world. If you have an issue of right and wrong, they are always on the wrong side morally. And they're not for parental rights, they're against it. They're for doing trans surgeries on young children that are irreversible. They're not against it. You can just pick out a topic and they'll be on the wrong side. And so, we need to understand when we vote for those things, and you vote for someone who promotes evil and does things that are wrong in the eyes of the Lord, you might look in a book and say, workers of iniquity, open up and look down, you might find their picture there. But if you voted for them, you better keep looking, because you get down further, you're probably going to find your picture there, because your hands are not clean, because you could have been a patriot. You could have voted for what was right. So let's be the patriots that 50 years from now, they look in history books and they'll say that our generation, hey, there were patriots, that they voted for what was right and good in the world, and they stood up for it. Just something to think about. Take care and God bless.